Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. In today's video, I'm going to give you a real estate market update and stick to the end of this video because I have a big announcement that was announced just a few days ago regarding pending home sales in May across the United States. And if you're new here, welcome. I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market as well as personal finance topics. So I invite you to subscribe to this channel and join the family. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the video about what we're seeing regarding home sales in the United States. It was reported by the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, that existing home sales fell 9.7% in May. And they're defining existing home sales as single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and co-ops based on transaction closings from the multiple listing services. The National Association of Realtors stated this was a drop in sales for the third straight month. And this was largely from the coronavirus outbreak that shut down most of the country for at least a month. According to NAR's chief economist, sales completed in May reflect contract signings in March and April, meaning that's when people got into contract was in March and April and they closed in May. And that was during the strictest times of the pandemic lockdown and hence the cyclical low point. And this really makes sense because it takes about 30 days from when an offer is accepted to when the sale is ultimately finalized. So if you're looking at May sales, that's really the result of activity in the previous month in April. For example, in California, real estate agents were not allowed to meet with their clients face-to-face or doing open houses starting in late March, and that lasted approximately a month. It also states in this report that they predict that home sales are going to surge in the next coming months because states have been starting to reopen and real estate agents are allowed to meet with their clients face-to-face. In addition, pending home sales have gone up as well, which I'll discuss later in this video. If you're curious how home prices have been affected by this pandemic, then NAR also announced that the median existing home price for all housing types in May 2020 was $284,000. Now that was up 2.3% from May 2019, and they also reported that prices increased in every region. It also mentions in this report that total housing inventory at the end of May was up 6.2% from April and down 18.8% from a year ago. It also states in this report that new construction must increase in order to increase the inventory because right now housing demand is high, but the inventory is low. So that's going to pinch out especially first-time home buyers as home prices increase. For example, I found an interesting article on CNBC, and they said that home builders saw the strongest May sales in over a decade. They reported that May sales of single-family homes increased 13% from a year ago. However, the big issue is the decrease in the amount of construction of new houses right now. So for example, they said that single-family housing starts in May were close to 18% lower annually, and building permits, which is an indicator of future construction, were down about 10%. And this is really due to the increase of construction costs and the lack of skilled labor. Homes in May also sold very quickly. So according to NAR, they say that 58% of homes sold in May 2020 were on the market for less than a month. If you're wondering how many people are buying houses with all cash, meaning they are not using a loan, they also reported this as well. So across the country, they stated that all cash sales accounted for 17% of the transactions in May, and that was up 15% in April 2020 and down about 19% in May 2019. Okay, let's talk about foreclosures because I get a lot of questions about this because of course we have this very high unemployment rate above 10% right now. And there's a lot of people out of jobs, and we also have this loan forbearance program, which some people believe may cause a foreclosure issue. But before that, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Videos like these tend to take hours to make, and this is not my full-time job, so I greatly appreciate it if you just hit the like button. Also, if you want 2 free stocks, click on the link below because for a limited time, Webull is giving away 2 free stocks when you deposit at least $100 within 30 days of signing up. And one of those stocks could be valued up to $1,400. Okay, let's dive back into the video and go over foreclosures. So in the United States, distress sales, which is basically foreclosures and short sales, that represented about 3% of all sales in May. And that was about even with April, but up from about 2% in May 2019. And don't forget, of course, we have a foreclosure and eviction moratorium right now, and that is through the end of August. So according to the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or the FHFA, they announced late last week that the foreclosure moratorium is extended through August 31st, but this only applies to single-family mortgages backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. In addition, the Federal Housing Authority, or the FHA, they also followed suit and also extended the moratorium for those who have a mortgage backed by FHA. And of course, these moratorium on foreclosures right now is really going to be curbing the amount of foreclosures that we see in our market right now. For example, in Sacramento County, which is where I live, sales of real estate owned properties, or REOs, accounted for only 1.1% of all sales in May this year. And that was only 11 sales out of 1,032 total sales in May. In addition, short sales only made up about 0.4% of all sales, with just 4 closings total. And by the way, if you're not familiar what a foreclosure is versus a short sale, let me briefly explain. So a foreclosure is basically means that the homeowner has defaulted on their loan, and then the bank or their lender has taken ownership of the house and they're going to sell it on the market in order to recoup their losses. On the other hand, a short sale is when the homeowner is experiencing a financial hardship and applies through their lender saying that, hey, I have this financial hardship, I want to sell my house, but I realize that what I owe on my mortgage is higher than what the house is worth. The key question here is, will there be an increase in foreclosures? And the answer, in my opinion, will be absolutely yes, there will be an increase, because there's only one way that foreclosures can go up. In Sacramento County, it's only 1.1% of all sales. So it's a very, very low amount. We've had that for over a year. So there's really only one way that foreclosures can go, and that, of course, is up. Other thing to watch is for the unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate right now is around 10%. However, there's a spike in COVID-19 cases right now, and a lot of businesses are being forced to shut down again. Is this going to cause a spike again in the unemployment rate? We will see. If that does happen, is that going to increase the amount of foreclosures that we see, especially if they do not extend that moratorium beyond August 31st? However, like I mentioned in my previous video about a week ago, it was reported by Black Knight, which is basically a company that provides data to the real estate and mortgage industries. They reported that about 80% of people in forbearance have at least 20% equity in their houses. So this gives homeowners and servicers more options in order to avoid foreclosure. So for those people who have equity in their houses and are experiencing a financial hardship, they have the ability to sell their house in order to avoid foreclosure. I also mentioned in my previous videos all the options that homeowners have and renters have right now if they are experiencing a financial hardship due to COVID-19. If that's you, my heart goes out to you. There's a resource I always mention in my videos. It's knowyouroptions.com. It was also reported that many people are moving out of the cities into the suburbs because employers are allowing their employees to work from home. And so people do not have to pick a place solely on where their work location is. Also, according to the National Association of Realtors, they said that relatively better performance of single-family homes in relation to multifamily condominium properties clearly suggests that migration from the city centers to the suburbs. They also said that after witnessing several consecutive years of urban revival, the new trend looks to be in the suburbs as more companies allow greater flexibility to work from home. Okay, let's discuss some big news that was just announced just a few days ago, and that was that pending home sales in the United States increased 44% in May after 2 previous months of declines. Again, a pending home sale basically means that the home seller has accepted an offer from a home buyer. NAR also noted that every major region in the United States recorded an increase in month-over-month pending home sale transactions. So this is not just for one part of the country, this is for all major regions that they report on. Therefore, this increase of 44% in pending home sales in May is a strong indication that the number of home sales should increase in the next 1 to 2 months. All right, let's go over some mortgage news briefly because interest rates are absolutely insane. They are very low. In fact, they have reached another record low. So the average for a 30-year fixed mortgage is only 3.0%. And that is the lowest since Freddie Mac began tracking data way back in 1971. And to give you some context, about a year ago, mortgage interest rates were around 3.9%. So they're about 25% less than they were about a year ago. That's your real estate market update for today. But don't forget, click on the link below to get your 2 free stocks for a limited time and let me know which 2 free stocks you receive. Please subscribe and I'll keep you updated with new developments. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. I hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.